The drivers are all jazzed up, and so am I, and so should you be for a wild ride here at the Superdome. You know, they call New Orleans the Big Easy. I don't think the big bad boys of Monster Trucking will be taking it easy as they go whirling around the curve of this oval raceway. So get ready for some raging Cajun major Monster Truck action coming at you. Over the New Orleans Superdome with the Mighty Monsters. Out of the chute facing opposite directions, these two monsters will go over the cars and then into round-around racing. Up in the air, land, and you're already into a turn right now. Then, using four-wheel steer, you must maneuver all the way around, doing a 180, and then over another set of cars. Another complete turn, and then over the cars to the finish line. That's what it's all about today on Monster Wars, the most challenging course thus far in the year. Round one, race number one, and Kodiak lines up to go against Gravedigger. Here's how they did in qualifying. Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson in the cockpit, qualified first at 19 seconds. Mark Bendler took Kodiak to 6th in qualifying, 24 and change on his time. They're lined up and ready to go. Remember, they're facing each other before they go into this turn. The most important part here will be the driver, how he can maneuver his truck. On the start, a nice jump for Gravedigger. Kodiak having a little bit of problem. Digger is maneuvering this course beautifully. He comes around, and oh, look at this! Mark Bendler turns Kodiak over. He turns Kodiak over. Gravedigger has to maneuver around him in order to finish this race. And he limps over the finish line. He had to get out of the way of Kodiak. 24.66 seconds. Kodiak is on its top. Kodiak's on his side. The driver's okay. And what happened to Kodiak? He was doing great when he went over the cars. And I told you to watch out for the turn. This is what happened. Notice the rear wheels are pointed the wrong direction. It was too late at this point for Mark Bendler to correct it. It threw him over. Kodiak goes back up on all fours, and Jim David sits in the pits with our winner, Dennis Anderson.
Hey, Dennis, a nice run, but with all that stuff going on with Kodiak, did that throw you off a little bit?
No, not really, Jim. You know, I was catching Kodiak pretty good. This truck wasn't working as good on the course as mine was. My truck got cut tires on it. Tires were more rounded. I was sliding around the turns like flat tracking. He just was getting a lot of side bite. The truck rocked up and rolled over pretty easy. It was a pretty mellow roll, but it didn't bother me at all. You know, the only thing that bothered me is I just had to drive by him, and I felt bad about leaving somebody wounded beside the road, which he wasn't wounded, but just didn't want to leave him behind, you know, but we had to do what we had to do.
Round one, race two of the U.S. Hot Rod Association's Monster Wars. This matchup between Predator, driven by Alan Pizzo. He qualified 9th and only picked up 1 point for that, against Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter aboard, 4th in qualifying, gave him 6 points. Driving a monster truck has got to be a very dangerous profession, and sometimes I'm sure it goes through the driver's mind. Before the race, we asked Gary Porter if he ever thinks about the danger.
Well, every time, you know, when I'm pulling up to the line, you know, I'm sort of thinking about what can happen, what has happened in the past, but, you know, once I pull to the line and stage, you know, I just, you know, blank that out of my mind, because I can't take it down the track with me. If I start carrying it down the track, then I need to get out of the truck.
Carolina Crusher going against Predator. The Superdome New Orleans, they're lined up and set to go. Over the car on the start. Now, power up into the first set of cars. Predator looking very, very good as he goes into turn number one. Carolina Crusher is already there. Gary Porter picks up a nice lead. What great handling. Look at the way he uses that rear steer going into the turn. Predator's trying to catch up, but it's too late. Porter wins it. Carolina Crusher by less than a second over Predator. As we view the finish line, this is what a 1 second margin of victory looks like. Carolina Crusher is there. Predator had trouble. He came in high on that first turn, had to lift the tires up and then back out of it. He was out of shape as he went over the cars. That cost him a lot of time. Gary Porter, beautiful fluid motion going into the turn. The tires are set perfectly as he approaches the jump. Again, the win goes to Carolina Crusher. The matchup between Taurus and First Blood. In qualifying, both drivers came out and gave it their all. Jackie Woolman Jr. took Taurus to second in qualifying and picked up 8 points. Rob Fuchs took the First Blood Ford to 7th and picked up 3 points for that effort. Taurus has got to be considered the favorite here. First Blood has been struggling of late, but the question is now, has he gotten the problems worked out? The trucks are staged. Taurus off the line. And now powers up to approach the cars. First Blood is there. Now, First Blood going into this turn looks very, very good. Taurus, he's already over the second set of cars and heading home, and First Blood seems to have been backing off. He does back off. Taurus is finished. And First Blood is still trying to get over the course. The time difference over 5 seconds. Taurus gets the win. On the starting line, they were even, and then everything changed. Taurus had everything dialed in. Jackie Woolman was driving this truck like a pro. Rob Fuchs was still trying to find his place on the track. And this is really where it opens up. A big lead for Taurus. And it was really over after the second jump. The action's just starting on Monster Wars, and out of the pits comes the boy from Tennessee. David Morris takes on Tropical Thunder in this matchup, and both drivers know they need the points on this win. Equalizer qualified 10th and only picked up 1 point. Tropical Thunder was 5th in qualifying, and he got a whopping 5 points for that one. And now it's ready to go racing time. No qualifying here. This is all-out racing. They face each other off the line. Tropical Thunder takes a bad bounce. Equalizer seems to be in control. Tropical Thunder has been really struggling this season, and Equalizer has been sailing through these races. And it looks as though he may actually lap Tropical Thunder as he just limps over the second set of cars. Equalizer's having to back off because he's going to run up Tropical Thunder's tail here. Wayne Smolzanek has lots of problems. I'm not sure what they are, but he's a full 7 seconds behind Equalizer. Equalizer, your winner in New Orleans. Equalizer was in control of this race from the start. Tropical Thunder took a bad hop, and that was all she wrote. Equalizer opened up a very, very big lead, had to back off before he finished the race so he didn't run into Tropical Thunder's rear. Action continues in the U.S. Hot Rod Association's Monster Wars. This is Creo style in New Orleans. This matchup pits Barefoot and Invader. Invader, driven by Ray Perkowski, he qualified 8th. Barefoot, with Fred Schaefer aboard, was our 3rd fastest qualifier. He gets 7 points for his effort. Barefoot is the big Dodge. Invader the Ford. Off the line. Now look at this. Barefoot opens up a lead early on. Invader has to struggle from behind. Fred Schaefer has Barefoot just dialed in on this. He goes into the final turn. It is all Barefoot. A full 4-second lead for Barefoot over Invader. It was almost as if Fred Schaefer had built this track. He knows it by heart. It takes Barefoot into the first set of cars, over those, and then into the turn. Ray Perkowski was not as lucky with Invader. He misjudged a turn, had to back out of it, cost him a lot of time. Jim Davidson is with our winner, Fred Schaefer of Barefoot.
Fred, a nice run against Invader, a good victory. Tell me about being down here in New Orleans in the roundy round track.
Thank you, Jim. Well, you know, in a roundy round track like that, me running the only dry block out here on the series, we have to be real concerned on how long the run takes and how much time we have between rounds. So that's one of the cautionary things we have to do.
Tell me about the track. Is this a more difficult roundy round?
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit longer track than we usually run, and a lot more heat gets built there and generated. And a guy like Ray Perkowski, he's getting to be a real aggressive driver anyway. So with the Invader, so we got to really watch him close.
Is the Barefoot going to be able to withstand the heat throughout the night?
This is one of our first long tracks like this. We're going to see what happens between rounds.
Being involved in a point championship, you got to treat every single event just like it's the event before. You can't do that at Bowling Green. That's like saying the Super Bowl is just another football game.
The Super Bowl of tractor pulling.
World Series, just another baseball game.
The Kentucky Derby of horse racing.
Indianapolis 500 is just another car race.
This is the place to be if you tractor pull.
This is our Daytona 500 right here. John Hyman's been doing this since God invented dirt. You beat John Hyman, you beat a lot of experience. I respect him. He respects me. I think the world of him.
Welcome to Bowling Green, Ohio, the granddaddy pull of them all. Expecting over 60,000 fans of Bowling Green this weekend. There could be up to 100,000 fans. And the first thing to do is go to the entry trailer, take care of drawing position, get your insurance and your credentials. The armbands are credentialed to all access to all areas. We're here at the sled, and before every bit of competition, we weigh the vehicle. They'll weigh the tractor with me on the scales and full of fuel ready to run. The tractor will weigh 5,800 pounds. You can run all the motors you want to run. If you look around here at Bowling Green, you see the blue shirts. They're the officials.
We work here for 3 days. Fourth day we clean up and start planning for the next year.
Well, the blue shirts consist of 200 members of Northwestern Ohio Tractor Pullers. 27 years ago, we organized and created the National Tractor Pulling Championships here in Bowling Green. This year, we got a lot of prize money. It's a $150,000 purse. There's a Buckeye Challenge that's worth $6,000. We're plumbers, doctors, farmers, you name it. We're out here.
If you want to know how these trucks work, we just have to talk to the professor.
In truck and tractor pulling, we hook our pulling vehicles to a weight transfer machine, which is more properly called a sled, and we attempt to pull this 300 feet. This sled is made so that as we start pulling, it comes pretty easy, and then as it moves down the tractor, it gets harder and harder and harder until it stops it. And that's the basis of our sport.
You know, the fans of Bowling Green, the best fans there is. You look around, there's fans everywhere. And you watch me pull, you'll see me react to the fans because they are good fans. You can hear them. They cheer for us. We give them gratitude back. It's the greatest there is. You be good, okay?
These fans are tractor pulling's answer to a rock concert.
Here at Bowling Green, like the pulling, it is the best there is to have.
You have to be here to see it. You know, it's the people that get into it and they come for the weekend and they save all year just to get here and tear loose.
Several years ago, they had to separate them. I mean, you've got the family side and the wild side.
This side is completely crazy. That side over there is a little more reserved, a little die-hard pulling fan on that side. Walk down the bleachers, talk to Crazy Frank. You don't know what he looks like, just ask around. Look for the people with the white suits and the straight jackets. They're down there with Crazy Frank. He's a lunatic.
Hi, I'm Crazy Frank. We're having a beach party tonight. There'll probably be 400 or 500 people there. I've got a feel it's going to be one of the best parties that we've had in Bowling Green since I've been coming here. I don't know if I'm a legend or not.
I'm going to leave him right in my dump. I don't think he has a chance.
You're going to be a tractor puller. You're going to start early.
Crank her up, James. Go really hard. Smoke that track. Down the track he goes. Crank it up, Jason. Go really hard. Go hard, Rachel. Rachel Rossler. One more has taken it all away. Give him a hand. Marshall Ackley.
Good job. Next time you see me, you'll be in the winner's circle.
Superdome as Grave Digger goes against Predator. During the break, Jim Davidson asked Alan Pizzo what it would take to beat Digger.
Well, you know, we're going to have to make up good time, you know, in the corners and hopefully, you know, over the cars, stay low. You know, every time you're in the air, you don't make forward momentum, you know, you're losing time. So we try to keep it low and you know, and make good time around the track.
Grave Digger doesn't stand a chance, does he?
Now we're going to try and put him down.
They are staged on the start. Predator looks awesome, but so does Digger. Digger is first to approach the cars. Going into the turn, Dennis Anderson cuts it very close, but does not have a problem. Predator has to back out of it. He's lined up. He's got to catch up to Digger. Can he do it? Digger is already up and around. Oh, Dennis Anderson gets a great win over Predator. From the very start, Dennis Anderson was dialed into this track. He goes over the cars. You know, he cuts very, very close going into this turn. Right on the edge. lines up and approaches the cars. Predator was not so lucky. The smoke coming out tells us that there's some kind of power problem, and that was all she wrote for Alan Pizzo. Remember, driving skill and horsepower is what it takes to win here. Carolina Crusher, driven by Gary Porter, comes out to tackle his next opponent in Monster Wars. And that's none other than First Blood, the big Ford driven by Rob Fuchs. First Blood, oh no, First Blood loses power. He's struggling to keep it going. Carolina Crusher, meanwhile, is into a good run. He has to back out of it so he doesn't run into First Blood's tail. First Blood gets going again. He's still in this race, but no, he loses power again, and Carolina Crusher takes it all. First Blood has problems. He's a full half lap behind Carolina Crusher. At the end, it's an 8-second lead for the Crusher over First Blood. First Blood was looking good and then developed power problems. He loses it, almost stops entirely. He loses power 3 times during the race. You can't win a race that way. Gary Porter, meanwhile, this was really just an experience romp for him. He comes out and again displays the flawless driving ability he has on this track. He's moving to the semifinals. Great run, Carolina Crusher. The trucks are lining up for our next matchup between Invader, driven by Ray Furkowski out of St. Louis, and Taurus, Jackie Willman in the saddle. They're off! Taurus looking very good off the line. What happened to Invader? Taurus with a great start, and he's coming around on turn number 2. Invader struggling all over this track. Taurus just out-horsepowers, out-maneuvers. He's in the semifinals as he takes out Invader. A big win for Jackie Willman Jr. It seems to be all or nothing on this course. Invader just couldn't get his act together. Taurus had it all from the start. He's up over the cars before Invader even comes into the screen to start. And now Invader limps across the cars. Willman's already got Taurus moving around. He's coming around into turn number 2. All Taurus sell out, ready to view the semifinals here in New Orleans. And Tropical Thunder is back. He's lost twice, but he gets to come back due to a lot of breakage. Equalizer couldn't answer the bell. And let's see what powers the big boys. Tropical Thunder weighs in at over 5 tons. He's powered with 1,500 horses by a Rodec 572. 10,000 pounds for Gravedigger, putting out 1,400 plus horses with a Chevy Bowtie block. Gravedigger, Tropical Thunder, Digger off the line. Digger takes a big jump. Tropical Thunder's just moping around down there. Digger is already into turn number 1. Tropical Thunder just going over the cars. Digger comes up to turn number 2. He is heading home, and Tropical Thunder is in all sorts of problems. Dennis Anderson takes the Gravedigger home. He's going to the finals. And Tropical Thunder never had a prayer. He couldn't even finish the race. It was a mismatch from the start. Tropical Thunder, he couldn't even get over the first car. He was having lots and lots of problems getting things together. Meanwhile, Gravedigger took advantage of the situation and just sailed on home. Wayne Smolzanek still struggles on this young season while Gravedigger racks up those points on Monster Wars. Who will face Gravedigger in the final? It could be Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher or Jackie Willman and Taurus. Checking the 2 trucks out, Taurus weighs in at 10,000 pounds on the bubble, puts out 1,200 horses. He's all Chevrolet. And Carolina Crusher as well, a Chevrolet, 10,000 pounds, 1,400 horses. They're pretty evenly matched. Jackie Willman takes Taurus up to stage, waits for the green light, and gets it. Boom, and now up to the cars. Over him. He already is opening up a lead. Look at this turn. He cuts it very close, but it's perfect as he lines up. Taurus just continues to open up the lead. He's heading home. Carolina Crusher is struggling. Taurus gets the win. Taurus drives himself into the finals against Gravedigger. Both trucks are evenly matched, and both drivers are veterans. They very rarely make a mistake. But on a course like this, you can misjudge easily, and that's what Gary Porter did right here as he took Carolina Crusher into the turn. just a little bit too much. He had to back out. Taurus, meanwhile, this was his course. It was almost as if he was in the groove. He comes around, nice fluid motion. All the tires are lined up and snaps back just in time to approach the cars. Taurus, the margin of victory right here, a full quarter-length victory over Carolina Crusher. He'll go against Gravedigger in our finals when Monster... It's all come down to this, the finals in the New Orleans Superdome. The matchup, Taurus against Gravedigger. And these two trucks have really had to battle to get here. Gravedigger took out Kodiak, then Predator, and Tropical Thunder to make it here. And Taurus, it was not easy for him. First Blood, Invader, and Carolina Crusher were his victims. And now they get set to do battle. Taurus and Digger on the start. Gravedigger, a great job of driving going into the turn for Dennis Anderson, and Taurus comes too short. Taurus cut it too short. He takes out a finish line pole. He's all over the track. And Digger takes advantage of that and sails home. Gravedigger takes advantage of that one mistake Taurus made and picks up a 1/10 of a second. That's the margin of victory. As fans hold up the shirt of our winner tonight, Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger. The margin of victory, less than a 1/10 of a second, looks like this. Very close indeed. In the pit, Jim Davidson is with our winner, Dennis Anderson.
Dennis, man, congratulations. New Orleans was good to you, my friend.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, we've had some great racing tonight. The truck was working really well. It was a really tight finals. Hey, I wanted Jackie in the finals. I got him. Hey, and I won. You know, it's, what can I say, man? I couldn't ask for a better night.
Well, the first 70% of that race, Taurus is out in front of you. He hits the pole coming around the last turn. You go ahead and mash it and take him at the finish line. What do you see when you're coming across?
Well, I got fumbled up in the turn myself, and I figured, hey, I done shot this race down. I saw Jackie's fumbling up. Once I got the truck straight enough that I could shoot it to the cars, man, I just stood on the old big motor and let her fly, and hey, I caught him.
Well, you got it dialed in now, don't you?
Yeah, man, it's working great.